A very, very beautiful morning to you. You're welcome to another exciting edition of Sports Talk on Atlantic Television Network. My name is Kingsley Bado, and I'm very, very happy, of course, to be here this morning to bring you up to speed with the latest revolving around the beautiful world of sports. On today's edition of the show, of course, a lot on our menu for you as Ogun University secures its first athletic gold. And of course, away from that, we understand that organizers announced Los Angeles 2028 Olympic Games schedule. And in football, Super Eagles are set to clash against Gabon in FIFA World Cup playoffs today. These and many more will be yours after the short timeout. Stay with us right back. You're welcome back, Steve Sports Talk on Atlantic Television Network. And of course, I told you we have a lot on our menu this morning for you. We're going to also take a look at, of course, the preparation of the Super Eagles of Nigeria against Gabon. Don't forget, of course, that encounter comes up today by 5 p.m. We'll take a look at that and, of course, see how prepared the Super Eagles are for that particular one. But joining me on the show this morning to take a look at some of the interesting issues we have on our menu is Miracle Onyekazi. Good morning to you, Miracle, and welcome to the show.
Yeah, good morning, Kingsley. Good morning, Port Harcourt. It's always nice to be here to talk sports.
All right, nice to have you on the show this morning, Miracle. Let's take a look at some of the interesting stories coming from the beautiful world of sports down here in Nigeria. As Tai Solare Federal University of Education in Jagun celebrated a historic double at the 2025 National University Games in Jos yesterday as Rebecca Sonaye and Kainde Olaruwaju won the institution's first ever gold medals in athletics. Sonaye triumphed in the women's 800 meters, while Olaruwaju victory came in the men's 100 meters in what signals Tasford arrival as a competitive force in university athletics. On the fifth day of the competition in hockey, the university male team also recorded a convincing 5-1 win over the University of Maiduguri, while in volleyball, the men's team defeated Federal University of Petroleum Resources 3-0. And for the University of Ibadan, they continued their dominance at the games, winning 7 medals on the same day in judo as well. As well, the University of Lagos made waves in badminton and taekwondo. Daniel Christopher and Adesonya Bolowatife won Ulilag's first medal for the games with a bronze in the male team. Badminton event in the badminton event in judo, Loso Taiwo won the school's first gold of the tournament in the men's 60 kg category. Unilag's taekwondo contingent also impressed, winning 3 silver medals across the pair and team Ponsa event with notable performances. Other results on day 5 include the University of Benin edging Unijos 1-0 in women's hockey, while Unijos men defeated Bayero University Kano 1-0. Miracle, I know, of course, you've been keeping tabs on the National University Games in the Waziristan. What do you make of it? We saw some, of course, new universities, of course, making wave this time around. Talking about the likes of, Thai University, Waziristan, putting up some high level of, impressive performance this time around at the National Youth Games. What do you make of the performance of the universities, especially the new ones that, of course, people do not really, of course, maybe talk about to say?
Yeah, I think so far it has been a good start from university stores. I think we know that the National Youth Games have been one of the most promising inter-school or inter-university competition over the years. And we've seen how this game continue to promote and bring out young talents that actually go on to represent the country far and beyond. So far, this competition this year, the new schools coming in, I think they've showed that they've been able to raise their shoulders high and compete with the known names that we've known over the years. I think so far the competition for me has been quite great, and seeing new schools like that come into the competition for the first time and actually rub shoulders with the old one, with the experienced ones, it actually tells a lot of them. So for me, I think I'm still looking forward to the games, and I'm looking forward how the games continue to bring out those talents and but the local games have been quite good and fantastic to watch, and there's still a lot of expectation.
A lot of expectation, at this point in time. So keep our fingers crossed. Yesterday was day 5, and we'll see how it goes. I will continue, of course, to bring you up to speed as the result, of course, unfold at the National University Games. Let's start away from that as we hear that the Los Angeles 2028 Olympics will kick off with a bang with the women's 100 meters final taking place on day 1 and the men's 100 meters final on the second day, says World Athletics President Lord Cole. The opening ceremony of the games will be on 14 July and the closing ceremony on 13 July with athletics, which will run for the entire games. Now, starting the first week and swimming in the second, in a historic swap as they outlined the schedule. The games, the organizer said, It will be the biggest Olympics featuring 36 sports and 51 disciplines across 49 competition venues in 18 zones throughout the Los Angeles region and Oklahoma City. There will also be a Super Saturday on 29th of July, which include 36 finals in 23 sports. Miracle, of course, the 2028 Olympic Games is um, by the corner, as it stands. Preparation, of course, in top gear as it stands. What do you make of it? Our concern, of course, is for Team Nigeria. It comes out 2028 when 2026 is at this point in time. How do you see it? Any preparation so far for Team Nigeria? Talking about the 2028 Olympics, looking at the fact that last time, in Paris, it was really, really, an awful outing for Team Nigeria.
Yeah, for me, I think it's the um, I think the last time we were in the Olympics in Paris, I think the disappointing performance from the Nigerian athletes, which I wouldn't blame. I wouldn't blame the Nigerian athletes for how they perform in the Olympics. Um,
All right, we'll try once again to see if we can get that connection right, of course, with Miracle. We'll take a break now, and when we'll come back, of course, we'll talk about the Olympic Games. Stay with us, right back. Yeah, welcome back at Steve Sports Talk on Atlantic Television Network. And of course, I told you we have a lot for you today. And of course, we're taking a look at the 2028 Olympic Games as, of course, preparation is in top gear already. And of course, Miracle Yekazi still with us. And as well, we'll take a look at that as well on the show. Miracle, of course, we're taking a look at the 2028 Olympic Games. What do you make of it? It's just by the corner. We're talking about preparation for Team Nigeria. How prepared, is Team Nigeria? Looking at the fact that we just have about 2 years, to the Olympic Games.
Yeah, I think Kingsley, I was saying before that now is actually the right time to start preparing ahead of the Olympics because we know that it's just by the corner. 2028 is not far from now. I think this is the right time for our federations to start preparing on the logistics, on the athletes, on how we can make those athletes perform. Because we know that we have a couple of great and good athletes, but due to the fact or due to the lack of preparation that we normally have during competitions like this, it actually hampers the performances of the athletes. So I think now is actually the right time to start planning ahead. There are a lot of things to start putting in place on the logistics of for the athletes, on their let's say on their attires, on how they can go out and present themselves well, not just going there to compete. I think we need to start competing at the high.
All right, to try once again, of course, to establish that connection once again with Miracle Onyekazi. But away from the Olympic Games, let's bring you some interesting result coming from the ATP this morning as Yannick Sinner drove Alexander Zverev to distraction with a composed performance to reach the knockout stages of the ATP final. The Italian second seed maintained his bid for the year-end world #1 ranking with a 6-4, 6-3 win over third seed Zverev. The four-time major champion, who is 34 years, is the first player to reach the semi-final in Turin. Sinner must defend his title and hope rival Alcaraz loses his final group match against Lorenzo Musetti today and does not reach the final. And of course, to see how that one, of course, will go down. Earlier, Canadian Felix Auger-Aliassime kept his campaign alive with a 4-6, 7-6, 7-5 success over big Serbian American Ben Shelton, who is now eliminated. The winner of the Auger-Aliassime and Zverev match tomorrow will advance along with Sinner. All right, let's see how it goes. Impressive results coming from the ATP finals this time around, but it's time to talk football. And we start, of course, from the home scene as Kun Khalifat's FC forward, Ezohi Harry, has assured that his team will make up for their home loss to Rivers United. The Owerri-based side suffered 1-0 defeat to Rivers United at the Danayam Stadium in Owerri on Monday. Obinauzo's team are on a 3-game winless streak in the Nigerian Premier Football League. Kun Khalifat will face high-flying Nasarawa United this weekend in Owerri, and they currently occupy 17th position on the league table with 12 points. All right, we'll also have a very notable journalist from Uyo, Akwa Ibom State, and Sidibe Akpan joins us this morning. Good morning to you, Mr. Sidibe, and welcome to the show. Mr. Sidibe, good morning to you. Can you hear us?
Good morning, Kingsley.
All right, let's take a look at, the Nigerian Premier Football League. Kun Khalifat, of course, got promoted last season to the league. Not been, of course, a rosy one for them. And they lost on Monday against Rivers United. But the coach of the side and the players are optimistic that, of course, they can, of course, turn around the results, for good this time around. This weekend, they will lock horns against Nasarawa United. What do you make of Kun Khalifat, their performance so far since they got promoted to the Nigerian Premier Football League?
I think they've been good. They've been good, all things considered, when you look at the way they are playing and how they are playing. one of the teams that can go away from home and decides to play football, not minding where they are playing. So I think Ekon Caliban have been good. And one of the issues that we should really look at when we are talking about this particular club is where they are playing. They are not playing when they are supposed to be playing. So it affects them a whole lot. They move away from where because of some political whatever that happened there, which all of us we understand. And now they are playing in a park which is not where they're supposed to be playing. So they are more or less playing all their home games from home. So in Barcelona, it's not their home, but they are using it as their home this season. So it's a lot to take for a newly promoted side. If they were to play in a worry and have the home support, I think it would have been a different story for them. But all the same, I'm still impressed with what they've done so far this season. And you look at them, they go to Bielsa, they win matches there. They travel away from home. They win. They are playing good football, but at the same time, they are losing too many games. So they need to start putting things in perspective. And sometimes, not all the games, you don't need to win all the games. There are teams that you play, and a point should be enough, whether it's home or it's away. But on the whole, from what I've seen from them, I think I'm a bit impressed. I'm impressed, and I know that they can do more if the circumstances were different.
The lock-ons against Nasarawa United, and let's talk about Nasarawa United. They've been impressive at some point. Of course, we saw them at the top of the table, as it stands. Nasarawa United, what do you make of the energy, from them this time around, looking forward maybe to win the Premier League title, because they've been very, very impressive, since the league, got started?
Well, I think it's going to be very good if National United can win the MPFL. But when you look at the table, you look at the teams that are breathing down their neck. You have Rivers United; they've become very consistent in what they are doing in the MPFL. So I think Rivers United will be there, and Enyimba as usual will also be there. But I'm impressed with National United. Last season they were struggling to escape relegation, but this season they put their house in order, and they keep winning matches, no matter when they've won 7 out of 12 matches. That's very impressive, more than half, meaning they've won home, they've won all their home games, and they've also won on the road and take some points as well on the road. So it's an impressive start to the season for them, but it's still very too early for me to think or to say that they can win the league. But of course, when you're on top of the table, when you are the one leading the pack, it gives a different energy. It gives you the confidence that you can go up the way and win your games. And I think I would support Nassau United to win the championship. And let's just hope that they can maintain what they are doing, because it's a long season. It's a long season. And we often say a league is a marathon, not a sprint. So 12 games in, there are still a lot of games to play. So I just hope that they can keep this momentum, keep winning their matches.
All right, let's see how it goes, of course, for Nasarawa United. We'll hope for the best, of course, for them this season. They've really, of course, been resilient. They've shown tenacity so far this season. Let's see how it goes. But let's take a look at, some teams in the MPFL that have not really been that impressive. Big teams, of course, to say. Kano Pillars. You talk about Remo Stars, football clubs. So, of course, maybe you could bring in Enugu Rangers, even Enyimba Football Club. These are big teams, struggling, in the Nigerian Premier Football League this time around. And Sidibe, what do you make of it? What could be the reason for the struggle for these big teams? Remo Stars, Kano Pillars, you talk about the likes of Enyimba Football Club as well. What could be the reason for the struggle?
Well, I think when you look at the case of Remo Stars, they have played 2 less games compared to every other team in the league because of their continental engagement. So I expect them to pick up the wins, even when they are playing against Rangers International, which also a powerhouse like we mentioned in Nigeria football. But I expect Remo Stars to get a win today against Rangers International and climb up the ladder. They'll still have an outstanding game. Same with Rangers International. Okay, Rangers International, when they play today, they'll complete their 12 games. So I think for Remo Stars, who are the champions, I think I'm seeing them going very far. You cannot write them off. Like I said about Nassau United, it's still very early. Remo Stars have established themselves that they can be very consistent in the last, 4 to 5 years in the MPFL. They've always been up there. So I think they will come through. Anybody have 17 points after 12 games, so they are not very far away from the points tally. They are currently 5 points or 6 points behind league leaders at National United. And for Rangers, I'm honestly struggling to understand what's wrong with Rangers. I understand that they are building. Recently, I spoke to the chairman of Rangers International. That's the general manager of Rangers International. And what he said to me was, it's not about winning the title. It's about winning or building a team that can compete when you go out there on the continent. Because immediately you are out there, you win the title. It means that you're going to compete against the likes of Mamelodi Sundowns, Alapli, and the rest of the continental powerhouses. So he said in confidence that they are trying to build something sustainable. It's not about trying to win the league immediately and not getting the results when you go out there, or you embarrass yourself when you go out there on the continent. So I think for Rangers International, I have confidence in their long-term plan, but at the same time, they have to pick up the pace. They've only won 4 matches all season, and which is not good enough. We know it's demanding, and we've seen them drop points to teams like Kun Califat and some other teams that they shouldn't be dropping points at home. So I think for Rangers, they'll pick up the pace as well. But like the general manager said, it's about building something sustainable. And I stand by that model for any PFL club to start building, start planning, know for a fact that you are building something that can sustain you, that can at least take you, to where you're supposed to go when you qualify for the continent. So I'm pretty confident in them. For Eimba as well, Eimba, I wouldn't say that I know what they are really planning, but they have a very good manager, an experienced manager in Stanley Duma. So we know Eimba will always be up there. It's for them to do what they have to do and start winning matches. Like Rangers International have only won 4 games all season, and they've had lots of draws. If they've been able to turn most of these draws into winning, or yes, turn most of these draws into 3 points, they would have been up there on the table. But they have to start winning these matches. The margins are very slim. Teams are coming away from home to compete. Wherever that you go in the MPFL, teams are ready to compete with you. They want to play football. They want to win matches. They want to pick up points wherever that they find themselves. So it's not a matter of I'm a big team. No, there's no big team here anymore in Nigeria, because look at teams that you would consider minus. They are ones of bringing surprises and bringing in good results all over the league. You got Igor City. They came last season. They did wonders, and everyone thought it's a one-season one. But it's something that they've been able to sustain, even when they've sold some of their best legs to other clubs and outside Nigeria. So they've been able to sustain this particular momentum. And as well for them, they've had so many draws. Like I said about the impact, Rivers United, they've had so many draws. So I think it seems like Warriors are coming up. And they are Warriors. I thought they are going to falter this season, considering what they did last season. But they are trained that they have a good structure to drive, and they are thriving on that particular structure. So I think it's a very competitive season in the NBFL, and all the teams they have to do the work. You must do the work. There's no complacency. There's no big team here. You cannot say I'm a big team and you are not doing the work practically, and your players are not putting in the energy, and you think you are going to. It's no longer happening in the NPFL, and also the officiating has been very good, and which has enabled these teams to go away from home and win matches. So I'm very impressed. For Kano Pillars, I think they are the fallen giants. Look at Kano Pillars some few seasons ago, few years ago, they won the title they won the title consecutively, and but since then fallen behind, even with the Ahmed Musa being at the end of their first day. It's not really working for them. Just 2 wins all seasons, and they've already lost 6 matches. So it's a difficult place to be for Kano Pillars. And I just wish them all the best. I hope they can, they can start picking up the points, because they are one of the teams that I want to see in the NPFL. They have the own support. They have everything that they need. They just need to put their houses in order and start winning matches. So I'm very hopeful that they can do that. But if they don't, we have so many competitive teams in the NPFL this season, and it's an exciting thing to see, and it's very interesting to watch.
All right, let's also take a look at the fans, the way, of course, the fans, I know the way they've embraced the league this time around. I think a few days ago we got a report where a player, of course, was injured. That was a game between Barra FC and Kwara United. It has not been, of course, that fantastic so far in the MPFL, especially when you talk about the fans, this time around, especially, of course, in the north. We had the case, in the game, I think Kano Pillars, their fans as well, they've not really put themselves, in a very, very good condition. The recent one was the one between Barra FC and Kwara United. What do you make of it? We've been talking about, fans hooliganism in the Nigerian Premier Football League for a very, very long time, and it still continues. What should be done? I don't know if you have a solution for this. What should be done, to curb this situation?
Well, I think we'll continue to sensitize our supporters. People going to the stadium, we have to, keep telling them what to do and what not to do. Because when you go to the north, you do realize that a lot of people that are going to the stadium to watch matches are not, with due respect to the people that are in the north. Most of them are not very well educated. They are very passionate about their teams. They want to see their teams win. They have been brought up with this mentality that we have to win our home matches, we have to win football, and that their team has to win games whenever they play at home. So it becomes a problem for them when they see an away team coming in to compete, and take points away from the home team. So it becomes a problem for them. So it's now there for the home teams, our clubs, to continue to sensitize these fans, tell them what to do, what not to do, and also inform them of sanctions that are in place. And I think the MPFL board, they need to, be very stern with their sanctions. Whenever an incident occurs, they have to step in and ensure that it's being handled properly, and appropriate sanctions are being given out to offenders. Even the clubs, they have to face serious fines, so that they will know that sensitization is important, that they have to put their supporters in check, and that they have to control the crowd whenever they play their home games. It has to be one of the criteria as an MPFL club, your ability to control your own crowd. It has to be something that all the clubs should be able to do, and ensure that their fans, conduct themselves in the manner that they should conduct themselves. And also, I think the case between Barwa FC and Kwara United, we also have to speak to the media managers of all these clubs, and even the heads of the clubs, on the kind of content they are sending out. I saw what Barwa FC did when that issue happened with that particular player, with the Ghanaian. So I think it wasn't the best. Nothing was wrong with the guy. Yes, they threw some objects onto the pitch of play after they equalized, and it was very dramatic what the player did, and even with that, what the social media handlers of Barwa FC did was totally uncalled for. And what they did was it showed the whole world that this player his throat was slit, and the pictures which they posted appeared as if the player was, that was dead, which is uncalled for. You don't have to do that. It wasn't a major injury. It's something that we have to frown against, but it wasn't a major injury. And for them to do that, it wasn't the best practice for me. And I think the MPFL board should step in. There should be repercussion for people doing, taking that kind of action or bringing that kind of propaganda, because I would say it's a propaganda. It's about putting the MPFL in bad light, in as much as we want to promote, in as much as we want to showcase what's happening in the MPFL. We want to tell the whole world this is what we are facing when you travel to an away game. But it's bad enough for you to start telling lies, start misleading the public. And we've seen how that news, went viral everywhere. The national dailies, they took it. I think some international media has also went on with this story. So it's not good enough from Baro FC. Yes, I totally condemn, throwing objects onto the pitch of play. And like I said, clubs needs to be able to. They need to, find a way on how to control the crowd, and they have to sensitize their supporters who are going to the stadium to watch their clubs play. But when you turn a simple situation, it was a bad situation, of course, which a player being injured, and you turn it into, like the player was murdered, and like he was dead, or something very terrible happened on the day, or it happened because the game was stopped, and all of those stuff, it wasn't necessary for me. And I think about FC and other clubs, they need to know that it's not all about all of that. It's about protecting the league and also protecting your players and your club. And when we keep seeing things like this, even when they are not as it seems, how deep are we looking at bringing marketers or bringing investors to invest in our league? So it was a terrible situation. It's not something that I want to see happening, and I hope that Baro FC and all the teams that are there in the MPFL are learning, on what they should be posting out on the social media, and also how they are presenting these things on the social media.
All right, it's time to stay away from the Nigerian Premier Football League as we talk about the Super Eagles of Nigeria. We understand the Super Eagles of Nigeria have returned to training in Rabat, Morocco, ahead of today's 2026 FIFA World Cup African Playoffs semi-final against Gabon after resolving issues affecting their match bonuses with the Nigerian Football Federation. Now, media officer of the team disclosed this yesterday, and Eric Chelsman boycotted what would have been their second training section on Tuesday in protest of unfulfilled promises by the Nigerian Football Federation over their entitlements. Now, with the development, the Super Eagles would have had only one training section with the entire squad before the crucial game. Now, US-based journalists, Collins would also share his thoughts, on the game, and so many sports pundits down here in Nigeria, also gave their opinion about this particular one, talking about Super Eagles of Nigeria boycotting training ahead of that encounter against Gabon today. But in Sidibe, what do you make of the preparation of the Super Eagles of Nigeria against a crucial clash today against Gabon?
Well, their preparations would have been better if the NFF did what they're supposed to do. The players are doing their part, but the federation will also have to, take responsibility and ensure that these players, the team, are well prepared. But at this instance, they didn't do that, and it becomes a problem for the Super Eagles of Nigeria. I know that a lot of people are thinking, or they are saying, that the Super Eagles of Nigeria, the players are sabotaging their chances of playing in the World Cup. But we've seen this over and over again. We've seen this particular script from the NFF, not from the players. The players they've always been very understanding with the national team, and we keep seeing this happening over and over again. We make promises to them, and they will not keep to the promises. So I'm in total support of the action that they took and the result that it has brought. If they didn't do that, they wouldn't have gotten the result that they have gotten. But going back to playing football, I think the players understand why they must qualify for the World Cup. We miss out going to the last FIFA World Cup. For a country like Nigeria, we need to be playing at the World. We are one of the powerhouses let me know. We are not one of the powerhouses in Africa in world football, but we are certainly up there with one of the teams that people want to see playing in the World Cup or at the World Cup. So I think the players understand what's at stake. They understand that they need to put their minds to it. They need to prepare very well. I think mentally they are very ready to play this particular game. They are ready to win Gabon, and it's for them to go out there on the pitch of play and win the game. Because if they don't, a lot of people will accuse them that they have jeopardized the opportunity of playing at the World Cup because they were asking for money. But nobody works for free for over 6 years, and you're still working, and your employer is not paying you. If I'm an employee, you owe me 2 months. I'm off. I'm no longer working for you. So it's a situation that Nigeria needs to control better going forward. But at the same time, I think the Super Eagles they are ready. I look at the players, I see the way they behave, I see the way they carry themselves. You look at the charisma in the captain William Trusito. You look at Victor Osimhen, the form that he is, and he's ready. He's ready to ball out and ensure that he gets Nigeria the particular way and qualify to the African playoffs finals.
You know, some person are of the opinion that it wasn't a good move, you know, from the players. You know, that this is a crucial time that Nigeria, of course, need to qualify for the World Cup. That this, of course, was not a good time for them to maybe put up a protest in demand of for their match bonuses, maybe allowances, you know, to say at this point in time. What do you make of that? You think it was a wrong time, or you think this is actually the right time for the players, you know, to demand for their bonuses?
I think it was the perfect time for it to demand for it, because we've seen how the NFF will promise these players that they are going to pay this, they are going to pay to qualify for the World Cup first. I think some years ago we saw this, they qualify for the World Cup first. After the qualification, all the players that protested, they were dropped from the team that went to the World Cup. So it's not a new script from the NFF. We've seen them do this over and over again. So I think it was the perfect time for the players, you know, to come together and decided to do this. And I will tell you for a fact that I am 100% behind what they've done. Even if that will cost Nigeria the World Cup ticket, let it cost Nigeria the World Cup ticket. But we have to keep exposing the rots in our football. The NFF is a corrupt organization. You know, you could even say it's a criminal organization. The people that are there, they've turned it into, you know, criminality. They've turned it into their personal business of embezzling money, not utilizing the funds that they are receiving from FIFA, from the federation, and even from sponsorship. They are owing players. Imagine if they are owing the Super Eagles, players of the Super Eagles, they are owing the likes of Osimhen, who can speak up, the likes of William Trusito, who can speak up. Then what happens to the rest of the national team? We've heard stories of the under-17, you know, being paid 100,000 naira representing Nigeria, 100,000 naira. That is not even enough to book a flight ticket from Rio to Lagos. So you understand what's happening, and I think it's the perfect time for the Super Eagles players to protest, and I am in full support that they did what they did, and it's now time for the NFF, you know, to put their houses in, to put their house in order. And I want to thank Nigerians for, you know, for coming out and trying to expose, asking the right questions, because we've not been asking these questions. A big kudos to Mubike for, you know, starting this particular campaign to Nigerian football. You know, when they started this, the NFF, they came out, they were telling stories, you know, telling us that it's for specific purposes. This particular money is for this. They contradicted themselves. Sheldon was saying that Nigeria and other, you know, the NFF did not get any money directly from FIFA. That is FIFA that handle all their projects. You know, stuff like this. It's something that these guys are doing, and no one is asking questions. And now that we are asking questions, we are beginning to see results. Even the players are beginning to be on that. You know, we've given the players the confidence to ask these questions and to demand for what they are right, and they are getting it. So I'm happy. It's a good time. It's a perfect time. If they didn't protest at this time, it would have been a huge problem for them to get their bonuses. So I think for me, it was a perfect time for them to protest, and thank goodness that with their wisdom, it wasn't in the UAE, it was in the UAE, it could have been something else because we know how angry Nigerian fans supporters are for the football lovers in Nigeria. We are now beginning to enlighten the ordinary Nigerian supporter now to understand what's happening in the NFL. So I think if it was Leo, it would have turned into a serious protest from the supporters. But thank God it was in Morocco, and just very few persons are opportunity to be there, and we waiting the results. So I'm in full support. I think it was the perfect time for them to protest and get what is rightfully theirs.
Not a perfect preparation, of course, you say down there, for the Super Eagles of Nigeria ahead of today's clash against Gabon. You think with very poor preparation, will it affect the performance of the players? And as well, do you see Super Eagles getting the win, against Gabon today?
I wouldn't say it's totally a very poor preparation. They've only missed one training session, and that's a lot. They've missed one training session, but I think they trained yesterday, and the coach must have packed all the necessary information on today. For me, I think it's about the mentality going into the game. It's not even about how many training sessions do they have. What do they really do when they train? It's about tactics. It's about discussion. It's something that they could have been discussing with the coaches while they were not training. So I wouldn't call it a very terrible preparation. They are preparing well. And mentally, they are very strong. They want to qualify Nigeria for the World Cup, and I believe that they are going to do it. So I wouldn't say it was a terrible preparation, but I look at Nigeria, I look at the determination that we showed in the last game against Benin Republic. I wouldn't have believed my eyes. I would have beaten Benin Republic 4-0, but we did that. It wasn't because the game was split in you. It was because the Super Eagles were superior individually, tactically. The players put their minds to it and wanted to play this particular game, wanted to win that particular game. They knew what was at stake, and they went out there and they beat Benin Republic. But I think in this particular game, it's still going to be the same game. They understand that they need to win this game, and it's something that I believe I believe strongly that they can do it. I also glad that they've taken their time to study the Gabon national team, because you have to look at what Gabon are doing. They have some very good players. Look at the captain, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. He scored 4 goals in the last game. They have some very good team, and they are well disciplined team to have made it this far to the playoffs. So I think my only worry is if Nigeria have taken their time to look at the opponent that they are playing today, and to ensure that they understand where they are coming from, the team that they possess, and how to nullify them. When you look at that and you go out to play your game, I think they stand a very big chance of winning this particular game. And like I said, mentally, these guys are prepared and they want to be at the World Cup, and they are ready to put in all the fight and to win the game. But it's football, anything can happen.
All right, let's say it goes this evening. We wish the Super Eagles of Nigeria the very best of luck. That game comes off, 5 p.m. Today. Super Eagles against Gabon, and we'll see how that one, of course, will go down. We'll make a return by 6 p.m., of course, to bring you updates from that particular encounter. Special thanks to Nsiribe Akpan for joining us this morning from Uyo, Akwa Ibom State. Nsiribe, thanks for joining us this morning.
Thank you very much, Kingsley.
All right. You can go down to our different social media handle, Facebook, X, YouTube, Instagram as well. The conversation, of course, continues right there. We'll be back 6 p.m. for Sports Extraordinary. The world to join us as it promises to be another exciting time talking sports on Atlantic Television Network. My name is Kingsley Manuel. Thanks for watching.